Okay, so Nicky, what's the name of the song?
First one is What a Scene.
And what's the artist?
The artist is my group Long Story Short.
Alright, so who's pretty much the one explaining the song, like this
Uh,
story?
for What a Scene, I'm the one that wrote it. I wrote the lyrics and the melody. So it's coming from me, from my personal experience.
And, to whom would this go to, like the audience?
I mean, like, who's the song about, or to?
Yes.
What a Scene's about my ex-wife. I wrote it immediately after we split up, like within hours. Um, I wrote it on the beach at night because I had nowhere to live. So I was living on the beach and I wrote it that night at like 3 in the morning.
Oh.
Yeah.
And, who... Wait, did I already tell you the audience thing?
Yeah, we already did that one.
Alright. So, what's the plot?
The plot of the song, ultimately deals with naivety in relationships, and it's kind of it's about how we split up in the beginning. The first verse is about how it haunts me, how I think about it, how it invades my dreams, things like that. The chorus, the refrain of the song really deals with just kind of, I guess naivety would be the best word, because it's saying the promises are supposed to make us stay together. All the things we say are supposed to mean them, and they're supposed to have some weight to them, and they didn't. And I believed it, and now I'm naive, and that's why the chorus ends with that really long part, that I'm so naive, I'm so naive. Um, the second verse again deals with the same as the first, about the real psychological aspect of it. Um, and then the chorus is kind of like a closure, like if you're finally, because throughout the whole song you're not speaking to her, you're just speaking in general. um, and then the bridge of the song is you speaking directly to her, and you're saying, so what would you say if our love had never really left? What if leaving each other was a mistake? And would you feel bad? Would you cry for all the years that you just threw away? And would you take back all the lies you said? And could you look me dead in the eyes and say that you'll love me till the end and mean it? Unlike in the chorus, it says all this promises that didn't mean anything. So the bridge kind of recalls back to that, and it's saying, "Okay, can you say it to me and mean it this time?" And that's where the song kind of ends. It's the last verse of the song. It kind of ends with closure.
Alright. And what would be a possible theme?
Okay, the theme in the song, if I had to sum it up with a tagline, it would be, don't ever assume that you know the future, is in relationships in particular. A lot of people, especially people your age in their teen years, even my age in their early 20s, will say, "Oh, I'm with this person, I'm going to be with them forever. I love you till I die," all this stuff. And while that may be true and you might feel that way at the time, don't ever assume that means forever, because especially at our ages, things change like that. People change and they want to leave. So the overall theme would just be, don't assume you know what's going to happen in a relationship. Be, how do you put it? Hope for the worst, or I'm sorry, hope for the worst. That's not what I meant. I meant hope for the best, but expect the worst and prepare for the worst. That's what that means.
And what type of imagery would be used?
Imagery. That's a good question, because there's so much imagery in What a Scene. In fact, it's probably, I tend to be very literal in my songs that I write, but What a Scene is very, very, has a lot of imagery in it. Um, if you take the first few lines of the song, it says, "Memories crash in my dreams like a siren in my sleep." That talks about, how the psychological effects of being broken up. It's like you can't sleep. The memories are just beating you to death in your sleep, and it's like a siren when you're trying to sleep. Um, See, it says, like, I stay. Memories crash in my dreams like a siren in my sleep. What a scene, what a dream. And then it says, they're coming through the looking glass. My broken hearts, my faded past. it seems that I can breathe. And what that means is they're coming through the looking glass. Looking glass means mirror. They're coming through the mirror. All my past, all the people whose hearts I've broken, all of my broken hearts are coming through now, and I can see them when I look in the mirror. And for some reason, it brings me peace. I don't know why, and that's how I felt when I wrote it. And all that heartache and drama makes me feel like I am who I am because of that, and that brings me peace. And the verse, the chorus is really literal. The chorus just says, the promises are meant to keep the love alive and the passion deep. I can't find the reasons for these scars. Like, they don't make sense to me. These scars just, like, what is this? You know what I mean? Or why our love would fall apart. I'm so naive. That's very literal. So there's not a lot of imagery in the chorus. And the second verse is really, really heavy on the imagery. Faster than a shooting star and brighter than the midday sun, it's hope and it's alive. So the imagery there is hope. Hope is personified in being a physical, tangible thing. So it's saying hope is bright and it's fast. It's just fast moving, like it's alive. And that's kind of like a ray of light in that whole burden of being broken up. It's just saying that there is hope in there, though you don't see it at the time. The next line, I stay a while and rest my feet in the land where shattered hearts still beat. That line is loaded. And I remember when I wrote it, it wasn't something I had to think about. It just came. Like, I was just like, oh, that's an awesome line. And so I put it in the song. And that, I could talk about that line for minutes, just because the line says, I stay a while and rest my feet in the land where shattered hearts still beat. And that talks about the emotional journey people have when they break up with someone, or someone breaks up with them. The emotional journey of acceptance and anger and depression and denial, all those stages of grieving that you go through. So that line kind of centers in on one small part, staying a while and resting your feet. And then you imagine like a forest, like a dark forest, and there's broken hearts all over, but they're still going. It's not the end of the world. And it says, I breathe and I'm at peace. So finally, when he takes the speaker, me, I guess, take a spot to rest and just kind of stop and like look at the world around you and be like, okay, it's not the end. That's kind of what that deals with. And then the bridge is not literal. I mean, there's no imagery at all. It's very literal. So yeah, that song deals very heavily in imagery.
Well, all right.
All right.
Thanks, Nicky James.
All right.